Okay, welcome to the Carmen Branje show.
Thank you for having
How
me.
does it feel?
I feel honored.
Yeah, okay, good. You'll be seen by tens of people, or
can't,
maybe
can't
hundreds.
wait. This is my ticket to fame.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I posted some clips for my last one. It got a couple hundred views on LinkedIn and whatnot.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
yeah, so maybe we can talk. So I want to talk design. UX design. I'm teaching a course right now in Laurier, and I'm teaching at York I'm actually developing a course for York, an
Oh,
online
wow.
course. So
Amazing.
maybe we should talk about some topics that would be helpful to them, and yeah, this will kind of be like when you came and guest spoke in my class, but instead of speaking to like 10 people, maybe you can speak to like 200. You know?
All right.
Yeah. So let's just talk about. So what's your role right now? What's your title?
So technically, I'm a design researcher at RBC.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your journey into design researching. Where did you start? Because I'm sure lots of young people will be curious about that. They've probably heard about UX. They've probably heard about design.
hmm
So where did you start this journey?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always been kind of artistically inclined and also was really strong at the STEM subjects, math and physics and things like that. So I kind of decided very early on that I wanted to kind of go into a field where I can leverage both of those skills, but you know, kind of do something more than just become an artist. I didn't want to be a starving artist, living on the streets and kind
Yeah.
of suffering. I wanted to do something where I could really, not saying artists don't contribute to society, but
No, I know.
um,
I've tried to pursue arts. It's not very
yeah,
lucrative. I
you
think my net
exactly
worth from my musicianship is like negative 5,000 maybe,
right,
something around
right.
there. So
Yeah, I mean, you have to be extremely talented to really make it.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I decided really early on that I wanted to go into some sort of design field, architecture potentially, but then I stumbled upon industrial design. So I went to Carleton University to do that for my undergrad, and it was um, it was a really great experience in that it taught me design foundation and just kind of help train my eye and learn about what is marketable and what it really taught me about like the design process of like doing research from the beginning, understanding human needs, um, you know taking those insights and creating concepts iteratively to try to address those needs, doing continuous research, and from a product design perspective, or from an industrial design perspective, it was literally like building a physical prototype, testing it with people, getting them to hold it, and like physically touch it and hold it, and provide their feedback, and then iterating on the product based on that feedback, so that it was more ergonomic, or the function and the form of it was addressing the need that came out of the original research, and then from there, um, developing it further to make it, more aesthetically pleasing. So
So
that those
what
are
was that degree? You said industrial design?
industrial design.
Okay,
Yeah,
so like what kind of sort of courses were you taking there?
and I mean, at Carleton, I think Carleton University is a fine industrial design program. It's you take courses like form and color, You have mass manufacturing classes. What else? Like there are a lot of, I mean, they're mostly studio-based courses, so you are, kind of, you're really applying theory to practice. So, yeah, I mean, it's much like other kind of design courses that kind of exist right now. But I think what was really unique about Carleton, and I think it's what they're really, I'm not sure if they're known for this, but what I really got out of that experience is that, for every time we would complete a project, we would have design reviews and design critiques. And actually, you know what? It wasn't even at the end of a project. It was intermittently throughout every phase of the design process. We'd have a very, very detailed critique. And the professors at Carleton, they don't hold back. And they really kind of tell it like it is and really help you grow thick skin to, take this critique and, not take it personally, understand that it's really like, it's critiquing the product, and and that critique is useful because it helps make the product better in whatever way the critique is aimed at towards. So I think that was like the most valuable part of that program is that whole process of presenting your design, really communicating the why behind making even the most subtle design decisions, and then receiving that feedback on a continuous basis to further iterate and improve on it.
Right.
Yeah. So I started off with that foundation for my undergrad. Worked in the field for a while.
Where'd you work? So you graduated, and then where'd you work after that?
Graduated and then worked at a small design consultancy, designing medical devices. Worked on a robotic surgical simulator, which was really cool. It was like a simulator that helped surgeons train to do surgery with a robot called the Da Vinci. And it was really interesting in that, you have this physical product that allowed you to kind of dive into like this it was a 3D immersive environment. And like, this is like, I'm going to date myself. It was like 10 years ago.
Come on, you're young.
Okay, more than 10 years ago. But, back then, like 3D environment, like immersive 3D environments, like that was ahead of the curve in terms of technology. But, and it also, it incorporated these like haptic feedback devices that allowed the surgeon to literally like practice.
Like if you're cutting virtual bone, it wouldn't go, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Would push back.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool stuff.
Yeah. It was such a cool experience working on that, just because much like how teams are set up nowadays, or really great UX teams that are multidisciplinary. That's exactly how it was in that project. It was a very multidisciplinary team. So you have I'd work with a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer. We had a surgeon who was like our main kind of user, who would kind of come in and provide feedback and in terms of like the ergonomics of this device. And it was a really, really great collaborative experience. And not only did it have like the physical aspect of designing that the simulator itself, but there was that the digital aspect to it, which I didn't play a huge role in back then, but it was really cool to see it kind of all come together. so that was kind of like the highlights out of school. I also worked in retail merchandising, and a couple of other consumer electronic products, but quickly realized that product design. I mean, it's really exciting, and it's a really interesting field to be in, like industrial product design. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, if you think about the iPhone, there's just really that one iPhone. You only have to design that once, but the services and the app ecosystem that really runs that device is like way more valuable.
There's just much more of it. Like, how many apps are there in the App Store?
Yeah, exactly.
100,000,
there's just so much
a
more
million?
opportunity there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I decided to pivot, and I also kind of didn't want to be on the receiving end of a design brief. I wanted to kind of expand my horizons and be a part of the group of people that make the decision around value proposition of why we're building something or why we're designing something. So I decided to go back to school and did a master's, an MBA in design strategy at the California College of the Arts in San Francisco. Learned a lot about innovation and design thinking methods and all of that stuff. And after that, basically came back to Toronto, tried to start a company, failed miserably, and then decided to get a real job. And here I am at RBC. It's been about 3.5 years. Actually, almost 4 years.
Yeah. Okay. So we stopped, and you were getting a little tired of products. So we're talking mostly physical products, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So then you went back and you did your master's in San Fran.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about this kind of stuff that you did there. How is their master's different than your undergrad?
I mean, first of all, it was an MBA, so it was really focused. But I mean, it wasn't. Okay, it was like, it's very much like a traditional MBA. We had managerial finance and strategic planning courses and things like that. Yeah. The basic stuff. But what was unique about this MBA is that it employed a lot of design thinking methods. It was studio based, so it kind of forced us to again apply a lot of theory to practice. And I'll give you an example. We had some really interesting courses, one called Innovation Studio and one called Sustainability Studio. Both studios basically kind of, the ask was to come up with interesting ideas to address current problems in the world. And in doing so, use design thinking methodologies and go through that, like an end-to-end design process, starting from getting out of the building, doing research, collecting feedback from potential customers, and coalescing that, analyzing it, synthesizing it, and then coming up with ideas, concepts, iterating on those concepts, putting together, a very robust kind of business model around why that idea is valuable, and would actually, be desirable for, a mass market.
Yeah.
And then, kind of like putting together like kind of like a business plan, or like, a kind of, I guess, a course of action to make that idea come to life.
So it's more the strategy side of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
The what rather than the how.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. It was more of the what. Right.
Okay.
The what and the why.
Right. Huh. Okay. Well, so tell me about design thinking. I think it's in my opinion there's something funky about design thinking. I haven't quite put my finger on it. I think maybe in its pure form it's probably a good framework, but I think what I think has happened is people who don't know what it is have run too far with it. What do you think? Have you seen that video that's going around by she's a designer, and her talk is called "Design Thinking is Bullshit." Have you seen that talk?
I haven't seen that.
Have you seen that? It's pretty funny. No. It's funny. So she's a I don't really know who her name's like Deborah out of something. Maybe it's not Deborah. But she has about a 10-minute talk where she critiques design thinking. And I've seen a few articles and stuff starting to come out saying like, it's a good framework, but it's not going to like slice bread. It's not going to do everything for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about this design thinking? Tell me your thoughts.
It's interesting because like I've come across many people who preach design thinking and they're like, oh yeah, we're design thinkers and I don't know, they just they take a lot of pride in the fact that they internalize this concept of design thinking. But when I worked with these people, I felt like it was really just a bunch of talk, and they a lot of design thinkers might put on workshops and maybe like get people to brainstorm ideas and do some blue sky thinking, and then that just kind of it comes from nowhere and then it goes nowhere.
Yes.
And I think that is the real problem, is putting design thinking, it's giving design thinking a bad name, because for design, I'm gonna quote Herbert Simon. Okay. He's amazing kind of design practitioner, and actually my boss Jesus Garetti quotes him quite a bit. And,
okay, what's his name again?
Herbert Simon.
Herbert Simon. Okay, I haven't heard of this guy.
So the quote is, I have it in front of me: "To design is to devise courses of action aimed at changing existing situations into preferred ones." So, I was talking about, earlier I was talking about how I went to school for industrial design, and it was like a foundational design kind of experience. Like I got my kind of foundational design knowledge from that experience, and that is what design thinking is. It's like you start off by kind of getting a lay of the land, understanding the current state of a customer experience, identifying what the problems are in the current state, and then trying to make that experience better by coming up with ideas directly addressed at those pain points, and then those ideas need to be continuously iterated and improved on based on customer feedback.
Yeah.
And ideas can't just kind of come out of nowhere. Like, I think the best design thinkers, and like anyone who uses design thinking in their day-to-day, they don't really consider themselves design thinkers. It's just something that's kind of innate. Like it just is.
It's like, I'm not a crook. Anyone who says I'm not a crook, you're a crook. Or someone who constantly, I'm a musician, I'm a musician, I'm a musician. No, well, probably not.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, I feel the modern kind of design thinking methodologies incorporate design research,
Right.
constant research, right? Always talking to people, getting constant feedback. It incorporates creative, like game storming methods, creative brainstorming methods too, and that are very intentional, right? Like everything is intentional. It's to solve a problem and get from A to B. Again, going back to Herbert Simon, it's you know understanding like the existing situation and turning those situations into preferred ones, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like uh, I feel like in the past design has kind of gotten a bad name because a lot of the times, again, going back to my own experience, marketers or business folks would just kind of hand a design brief to the designers. They'd go off into a corner and kind of sit and design in like a black box and come back with this like beautiful kind of concept out of nowhere
Yeah.
without any input from anybody. And but that's kind of changing and shifting, and I think a more collaborative approach to kind of coming up with ideas
Would you say
with
it's less
lots of
artistic and
people.
more scientific?
Um, I think you kind of have to balance both of those things. Um, Evidence based design is really important, but like at the end of the day, companies aren't educational institutions, and you don't really have to be scientific to be able to kind of
Mm-hmm.
identify, you know, insights or trends in the market and come up with ideas that could be really marketable, right? Like, so I think it's like a balance of like artistic instinct and a little bit of science, but
Yeah, but I
it's
think
more heavy on the instinct, I think.
I said this to you a few years ago, and it's interesting. A student of mine, like 2 weeks ago, came and said the exact same thing to me, and I was like, "Oh shit, I've had that same thought." Isn't design thinking just the scientific method renamed? Like, so you
Um,
have empathize. So that's
sure.
you research, right?
Yeah,
Or you have a hypothesis, right? It's
right,
and so you go out and you test it,
right.
right? And it fails and you try again. Design thinking seems very much to me like just experimental design or the scientific method.
Certainly,
You
but
know?
I think a big part of
Okay, so we were just talking about the scientific method. How I think that design thinking is basically the scientific method. So
yeah, and I agree with you, but I think design thinking is really all about collaboration. Again, like kind of going back to like back in the day, designers would go off in a corner and then come back, with like this like big reveal for like, oh, here's the solution to
yeah,
this problem. Rather, like the approach, I think design thinking was kind of brought in because you know there are a lot of people who can contribute to the design process because at the end of the day when you're designing a product for people you need to understand the emotional constructs and the like the the cognitive side of things, the cognitive emotional side of a
yeah,
product. And but you can't do that. Like one person can't do that. You need lots of people to kind of weigh in and provide their perspectives on, what an ideal solution could look like.
But that's not inherent in design thinking, is it? Like, not real. I mean, what you're saying is, yes, it's true.
Yeah.
But it's not like collaboration isn't a pillar of design thinking, right?
I think it is.
No, but it's those 5 little things, right? It's the 5 hexagons, right? I mean, that's the framework, right? So what is it? This is a test. This is an exam. What's the 5? All right, it's empathize. What's after empathize?
Empathize. I'm guessing ideate or
no. Ideate is the third one. There's something in there, and then it's prototype and test.
Prototype,
basically,
test.
Right?
Sure, but
that's basically it.
The ideate session, the converging and diverging and converging, that can't happen in a silo. That could only happen in a collaborative environment in order to be successful.
But maybe that's missing out of design thinking. Like, it's not in the framework. So, it's like what you're saying is true, totally true, and you need collaboration. But I'm saying it's not in there. It doesn't say that. If you gave a lecture on design thinking, you'd have to add that in. You have to be like, this is all very collaborative. You can't just.
Right.
I don't know.
I think in recent years, people have realized that is a key ingredient to making design thinking successful. And I think, like, just in my experience, that has worked really well.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can, go through this process as just one individual. I mean, maybe you can, but think about it. The research building empathy involves going out and talking to people. Yeah. I mean, it's research, but again, it's kind of collaborative. Like, in my experience, our ideation sessions, they include co-creation sessions with customers.
So you actually have customers drawing?
Oh yeah.
And they're coming up with good solutions.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone has knowledge and everyone has wisdom, and especially if you're like going out and doing research, talking to people, and they're really like, oh, this experience was awful, right? Yeah. Or like, this is the worst thing. Like, I need this to be better so that this experience is better for me, and it serves me better. If they're really passionate about that, they probably have plenty of ideas to make it better because they've lived through it.
That's true. I'm absolutely on board with they know their pain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been a part of some kind of participatory design or what have you, and I don't know. Maybe just how we ran them. I didn't find them super productive. But, like, I don't know. Generally, I like to ask about people's pain, right? Mm-hmm. Their problems, because they remember that. And
True.
I don't know.
I think I hear your skepticism, and I understand why you would be skeptical, because oftentimes people will think that they want something, or they think that this solution will solve all their problems, but there may be better ways to make the experience better by incorporating new technology or rethinking an experience in a different way. But I think that's why you get I guess I think the participatory research, the co-creation, kind of helps you maybe just more validate those pain points and those opportunity areas.
What I would look at solutions, I would try and interpret the solution a little bit as them articulating the problem a little bit more, maybe. And
exactly.
So I don't know if I would just take their solution and put it in, but maybe I would say, oh, okay, they want a mobile app that notifies them. Oh, okay, so maybe the problem is about like this, right? Like reminders or something like that, right? That's generally how to approach it.
The Model T is the perfect example. I use that all the
faster
time.
Faster horses.
Yeah, exactly. Faster horses.
Exactly. And you know what? So I've been reading a bunch of just intro UX books for my course, and every single one of them is like, you can't ask people what they're gonna do.
Oh no!
Right? You can't ask them
to think hypothetically about future behavior.
Would you use this thing, or would you do that, or would you do that? You have. That's why I like asking about pain, because people remember pain, and and so it just, it kind of leaves you in a spot, because a lot of the design research that I've looked at is exactly that. Is people asking, hey, would you use this tool if it exists? And then people say, oh, yeah. But you got to take that with a big fat grain of salt, because...
that never works. It never works.
Because I've seen, for me, I've had plenty of apps where you're like, oh, wow, that's so cool, but it doesn't hook into it doesn't change your behavior. It doesn't become a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hey, so let's talk tactics a little bit. We're kind of up in the air. Let's talk about tools for a few minutes. I love tools. I'm a tech guy, right? Can you help me explain to me Envision, and it seems to me like Envision is an incredibly popular and widely used tool, and I have no idea why. Can you please help me understand? Sketch, I understand. Sketch, I was skeptical at first. I'm an Azure guy, as you know. But I understand Sketch. I get that. But I don't get Envision. Maybe you can help me out.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the strongest attribute of Envision is its ability to socialize concepts and ideas and, get people who may be remote and may not be able to, be at a design critique or design review in person, provide their feedback on a concept. But I mean that's its strongest feature, that commenting ability and the socializing ability. Some of our designers at RBC, they use tablets, and Envision has this thing. I don't recall what it's called. I think it's like
Envision Studio.
No, it's like a freehand or something like that, where basically it allows them to sketch on their iPad and literally just wireframe really quickly, like hand sketches, and socialize those. And so I think it's a really great way to like quickly kind of mock things up and sketch things out and get feedback. But I mean, really, that's kind of all that we use it for. It's kind of like a repository now of like some of our design work to share with the design team. And if they have questions or comments about certain kind of features or elements of the design, they can ask them right in Envision. And it's easy for the visual designer who's using Sketch. It automatically they're all like kind of synced up, hooked up together. So seems to work in terms of workflow. Yeah.
But what about I'm wondering in Sketch. So I don't know Sketch too well, but they have symbols and stuff. Like Azure has masters. Right. I don't know. It seems like Sketch. Maybe people I've seen are just using it wrong or not the best way. But it seems like you're kind of redrawing everything, like every time. Like if you're working on a product for RBC, let's say, like there's already an established visual design most of the time, right? Mm-hmm. So why are you like, I don't know, it seems a little inefficient to like have a tablet and like draw a box or draw like a text field or something. Where, like, I think even in Sketch has symbols and stuff, right? So you should have a styled thing. No? Or...
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
I think sometimes like when I think especially for designers to start from like a blank canvas and just like literally like sketch things out freehand,
Yeah.
it's like it's less constraining and it kind of allows you to conceptualize a little more broadly.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, I guess it really depends on the designer. It's,
Sure.
everyone has their weapon of choice.
Yeah. Mine is Azure. I can't. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it was the first major tool that I sort of learned, and I just really got into it.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of old now, so maybe I'm set in my ways.
I mean, I have to say, I love Acture. Like, for prototyping, for research, is the most powerful
Yeah.
tool out there.
I think I just resent Envision because they refer to themselves as a prototyping tool.
But they
It's
really
not though. It's
aren't.
so not,
They're
right?
not.
It's
No.
not, and it's barely it's a click through thing,
Right.
but that's not a prototype.
No.
Like I want to see the micro interactions of you filling out the form.
Totally.
I gotta see you doing that,
Yeah.
right? I gotta see like you fill out a postal code, right? It should go right to the next field.
Yeah.
Little things like that can really increase or decrease the experience.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you want to get good quality feedback when you're kind of testing out a prototype.
Yeah.
It kind of has to, the behaviors have to be as expected. And if
Yeah.
things don't work, like it really throws the participants off, right? Like I didn't
Yeah.
expect that. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is an awful experience, and it really kind of taints the feedback for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's also again a fine balance of like, okay, how much should you prototype, and how much should you kind of leave it to the developers to build and kind of use that live environment to do your research and get your feedback, because sometimes it's kind of wasted time for you to kind of figure out how to build a really complicated prototype when like the developers can just kind of whip it up, really quickly, and the experience is a little bit more. I mean, it's more realistic, right?
Right. Right. So other than those three, Sketch, Envision, Azure, are you guys using anything else, or that's pretty much it?
Those are the main tools that I can think of right up off the top of my head.
Adobe, I don't know why Adobe hasn't like XD is crap, right?
Yeah, I haven't.
It's not. I mean, it's kind of it basically gives you what Sketch and Envision gives you.
Yeah, I to be honest, I was like, just it's interesting. First impression is so important, and so when Adobe came out with XD, their MVP or beta version was like just awful. So it really turned me off, and I haven't really looked back.
Yeah, I don't know. I figure like why what they need if they built a sketch that did what Envision did, or a sketch that did what Azure did.
Oh,
then they would just blow all those others out.
Yeah.
Because everybody, you probably have a CC on your computer already.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because you need Photoshop, Illustrator, what have you for just regular stuff, right?
Right.
So I don't know what Adobe's thinking there, but okay. Hey, let's round this. Let's kind of. It's getting late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I've been thinking about a topic. I don't know, maybe this isn't a topic. Maybe this is a new topic that I've discovered. But I'm always wondering about design authority. Do you know what I mean by that? Who says in an organization or on a team, who is the person that says this, who approves a design? And says this is good, and what do they base that on? And the reason I ask that is because a lot of the situations that I've been in, it's my opinion that it's totally the wrong person making that decision, and they're basing that decision on bad information. So what do you think about that? Where should design, and what should they be basing it on?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question. Because
Why, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so I'm as a design researcher, I strongly believe in triangulation, right? You don't just make a decision based on one form of or one piece of feedback or one source of information or whatnot.
Yeah.
You want to kind of weigh qualitative with quantitative information and kind of round that out and make a decision from there. Oh, do you need to reset? Okay.
Yeah, 1 sec. Okay, back again.
Yes. So
sorry to interrupt you. So yeah, you were saying continue.
Yeah, it's triangulation, right?
Triangulation.
So you wanna get as many you want to sort information from multiple sources and kind of package that together and then make an informed decision based on that. So very evidence based. So when it comes to design authority, I strongly believe that it should be democratized to some degree. Like, let's say you have a group of designers with multiple perspectives, not even designers, a group of people with multiple perspectives weighing in on the benefits and the costs of designing something a certain way, right? Yeah. You collect that information because, again, everyone has wisdom, right? Everyone has, they can weigh in based on a particular perspective. Say, someone might be an expert in accessibility, or someone might be an expert on cognitive psychology and how colors, help with sales
colorblind. 10% of men are red, green, colorblind.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah. So, everyone has some wisdom, but I do think that there should be either one or a small handful of people that make that final decision. But you can't just make that decision,
just based on an Envision mock-up.
What's that?
You can't make that decision just by looking at an Envision screen. You know what I mean? That's what I think that happens a lot. Right? A product manager will look at an Envision screen and go, yeah, good, done, print.
Wow.
I
guess it really depends on how much skin they have in the game and how important they the level of importance that they put on a particular product or aspect of a product.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you don't realize that until you go live in market and realize that, hey, no one is, converting, no one is, completing this flow for whatever you're doing because, I don't know, maybe it's not visually appealing
One sec. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's round this out. So you were saying that it's got to be collaborative and that it depends a lot on how much skin they have in the game. But let's give it a roll. Who is so maybe should design be split up to a bunch of practices? So should the head of visual design approve the visual design? Should the head of UX approve the UX, right? Or is there one? Is it a product manager? Is it who? What role? And is it like you said, like a vote thing? I don't know. What's the?
Yeah, I think when you're,
because in my experience, it's the person that makes the most money that's in the room. Has that been your experience? That's been your experience too, hasn't it?
I think that
sometimes
I think you have to come to a common consensus
Yeah.
It doesn't, which means that, someone may strongly oppose going a certain direction, but if the majority of the group strongly believes that, option A is better than option B, then go with it. And accept the risk that this one person is proposing, right? And you just got to weigh that. And you're right. I mean, yeah, it's the person. There has to be that one person that has that final say. Be it the person who's making the most money in the room, the product owner, the whoever it is. You can't, like, because you may come to a stalemate, right? Someone has to make the decision, but ultimately that person is the one that is going to accept the responsibility of whether if that's was a mistake or not. So yeah. They bear that weight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, I think I brought this up because I haven't really seen a lot of like thinking or writing about this kind of stuff. And it's for me, it's been an issue for me.
I also do believe in like, and this is like the most like, I guess everyone is using the whole like customer desirability, tech feasibility, business viability, like, that Venn diagram everyone's been kind of referencing. I think that it has a lot of merit. Like, you have to kind of weigh all those three things to, you like, let's say a particular design, it's like the designers are like, oh, this is the best design and we should go in this direction. But the tech folks are like, that is too hard. It's going to take too much effort. It's going to mess up our deadlines or whatever. But on the business side, they're like, no, we agree with design. Like, this is going to help us, make the most money or whatever. Like, you kind of got to weigh all those things and, kind of, again, like that one person has to make a decision.
So does that one person sit above all those groups? Are they, I don't know.
I think they kind of have to be like, I'm not going to say unbiased because everyone has their biases.
Biased. Yeah.
But they kind of have to, like, they have to be,
objective?
Objective. That's the word. Yes.
I mean, you can't be perfectly objective, but you can try.
You can try.
You can aim for it. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think that those are the people that make best product owners.
Deciders?
Yes. And again, like, at the end of the day, they're the ones that, like, they're taking the brunt of the weight on their shoulders, right? Like,
their bonus is tied to the product success.
Right. Like, yeah, I mean, it's risks they're willing to take on.
Yeah.
And, hopefully, you're not going to just go out to market with a product and kind of, say that's that, and we're not going to iterate on this. This is just how it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're going to, sense and respond to feedback and continuously iterate and improve on your product. So, you can make a decision, but again, like, fail fast, as everyone says, and learn from those mistakes and recuperate.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. This is a great little great discussion. Yeah. We should do this more often, man. There's a bunch of things I still want to talk to, but it's getting pretty late. And
well, anytime. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, there's some good there's some research talks coming up that I think I'm gonna bring some people from my work out. Maybe I'll send you some links. There's one for Tux, Toronto UX.
Oh, okay.
There's some professor from Chicago or something, and her talk is called Data-Driven Design Beyond A/B Testing.
Ooh, that sounds really cool.
Sounds pretty cool. So it's next week, I think. It's at lunchtime or something. It's a free talk. I'll send you guys a link. And then there's another one next February 20th or something. It's in the evening, but
was that the accessibility one?
Yes, yeah, it was. Did you see it something research. I posted, or did you hear about that?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've been wanting to go.
Yeah, so
hopefully I can make it.
So when is your last day of work?
Next Friday.
Oh, so you might be done before then.
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, I hope everything goes well with the whole baby situation.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Best of luck with that. When is the little bugger due?
March 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. Hopefully everything goes smoothly, and
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully. I'll be doing my own little research exercise. I'll be doing a lot of testing and iterating.
Yes.
With this guy.
It's very experimental being a parent.
What's that?
It's very experimental being a parent.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Try lots of stuff. Most of it doesn't work. But yeah. Okay, Shayta, thanks so much for chatting.
No problem.
It's been like 3 weeks, eh? We've both been super busy. We can't even get together for a coffee.
I know.
So many meetings.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we got to do this. So
yeah, absolutely. And maybe once you're out of the major shitstorm, maybe we could do this again.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool. Okay, Shayta.
Okay, good night.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.